What's going on, everybody? ChromeOnRust here. Up nice, bright and early, trying to maybe acquire a little bit of my life back because, well, seasons have been a ton of fun. Have been grinding them pretty much non-stop, especially on the softcore ladder. I was trying to get as many conquests as I possibly could. I was able to snag up 3 of them. The one I did not was reaching level 70 in the first 1,000. Now, there's still actually one conquest up in hardcore and in softcore. Now, switching over to the hardcore mode, yes, I did end up actually going for hardcore. Now, this is actually just a few days ago. I decided that there were a few conquests left. I really wanted to push for it. The one I wanted to get was reach tier 30 in the first 1,000. Unfortunately, just last night, I was going a little bit too mad mode, and it was getting down to like the last 36 people. And I decided with the gear that I had that I was going to try to push for Grid Rift level 30. Now, I had about 70 hours of progression on this character. It was doing pretty well, but I did not have like the dual unity rings or anything like that. I definitely did not have perfect gear, good bow, just on and on. I could talk about how bad the gear was, but I think it would have been possible. But unfortunately, I was playing on the Demon Hunter. I went and I tried to be a little bit too much of a man, and when your awareness procs in Greater Rift level 30 and everything is pretty much one-shotting you and you are right next to the exit, right at the entrance of a doorway, just click on it. Don't try to kill whatever you're trying to kill. Just click on the door and you won't have to see the horrible screen that your character just died and you lost many hours of progression. So it's just been a lot of fun. I would want to talk briefly about the season, how progression went and everything like that, and a few other things right after that. So as soon as the season went live, you were just able to start playing, create your character, start grinding it out. Unfortunately, leveling normally was not something that you were able to do on the softcore side of things. People were doing the Miser's Gold run. Now, if you haven't heard about it, you just looked for the bounty in the Miser's Gold, and you didn't have to kill anything. You just kind of ran around, hope you didn't die, and you just put it on Torment 6. You didn't acquire gear, and you just leveled up from 1 to 70 within a couple hours. So there was actually like a community for this. I found out about it late, and I just unfortunately wasn't able to get a group together that knew what we were doing. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, the group didn't know what they were doing, so we got off to a pretty rocky start. But still, in the end, we ended up only being about a half hour off of the time for reaching the or level 70 before, the 1,000. So missed out on that one, but was able to grab the other ones. But there are still 2 conquests left in hardcore and in softcore for completing the game in an hour. So this is still a conquest that I would like to do on both hardcore and softcore. So if you would like to do this with me, I don't have a group right now. I at least have like 1, maybe 2 guys who are kind of committed to doing this, but there's always room for more. So if this is a conquest that you would like to go for, the Sprinter conquest, and I don't know what it's called on the hardcore side of things, but it's complete the game or all acts in under an hour. If that's something that you would like to do send me a message, because I'm trying to put a group together. If you'd like to join community Nasty Old Vikings, that would be a good way to get a hold of me. You could send me a friend's request as well if you would like, but either one will work. So that's kind of what I've been doing. It's been a lot of fun, and progressing a character now compared to progressing a character when ROS launched, or even like vanilla. I shouldn't say vanilla launched, but it's so different. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. It is just the gear drops a lot faster, leveling is faster, just everything about what they did for seasons just sped up the game, put it on fast forward. So starting a new character now really isn't that bad. By the time I reached Paragon level 80 on my hardcore character, I already had full M6. But if I look over on the softcore side of things, I had to grind out 180 or 179 Paragon levels before I got my full M6 set. So RNG is going to play a big part of this. I think I was pretty unlucky when I was Paragon like 180. I think when I was Paragon like 80, I think I was just getting lucky. defined M6 set. You know, it's just going to be a lot of back and forth. You know, if you get lucky, you're going to find your set quick. If you don't, you know, you may have to grind out a little bit. But that's what seasons are really all about. It's just the grind, getting into it. I've been having a ton of fun. I would recommend anybody who hasn't been getting into seasons, if you don't want to do this one because it's already started, like, you could still push for the top of the leaderboards at this point. And people are not that much further ahead yet. Okay. They're pretty far ahead, but you could still definitely catch up and find yourself in like the top 10 or something like that. But season 2 is going to be coming out, and I do definitely feel like there's going to be quite a bit more competition. Maybe this is just me, but I'm having so much fun with seasons. I'll definitely be back for season 2, and you know, I'm going to be pushing harder than I was for season 1. Knowing more of what I'm doing, players are also going to be knowing more of what they want to do, and the competition I just feel like is going to be growing, because we looked over at Softcore and the competition was kind of there. Like, it was there somewhat. You know, all the conquests filled up, but we look over at the hardcore side of things, and it took quite a while actually for the conquests to fill up. I was really, really surprised, and that's why just a few days ago I was like, you know what? I'm going to push for tier 30. Going to try to get in the top 1,000, just because people really weren't pushing for it as much. Now, softcore versus hardcore, it's really hard to say. They both are extremely fun. Splitting my time up between the two of them is something before that I really thought I didn't want to do. Now it's getting a little debatable. I'm really having fun on both sides of things. Being able to play in a way where you're reckless, you're pushing, and you die and it's whatever is really fun. Knowing the limits of your character, getting to understand the class, then you go over to hardcore, you feel like you got a pretty good solid understanding, and then you realize that it's a different world, it's a different ball game, and you need to be playing a different style. I don't want to say it's two different games, because it's not two different games, but it gives you a different perspective of what's to come and things that are going to be happening to you, and it's going to make you a better softcore player. There's no lie about it, at least in my opinion. I definitely feel like I've become a better player just from, you know, switching over to hardcore, going back to softcore, switching over to hardcore, and really getting that immersed feeling on both sides of what exactly is going on. So I just really wanted to talk about seasons, how they were going. I know I haven't come out with a video in a while. I really don't want to wait that long, but like I said, I was just so into what was going on in Diablo 3 that I didn't want to pull myself away. But today I did want to rip myself away, let everybody know what was going on, and I do want to throw out there that like the guides and all that are not going to be gone. I do want to get into the Demon Hunter next, so do expect that. I want to start off with like a couple early builds maybe like what you're going to be doing before you have your set bonuses, what you're going to do like in between when you still haven't quite completed your M6 and maybe you've completed one of the other sets. Getting into some of those things is what we are probably going to be doing in our next video, talking about the Demon Hunter. They are very overpowered at this point. I was surprised to see that. Like, I got some feedback, or whatever you want to say. People are like, okay, the Barbarian, you know, we've probably seen a little bit of enough of the Barb. And I was like, yeah, I'm having fun with it, but you're probably right. I could switch over to a new class, and I have to say it was a ton of fun. So thanks to everyone who's like, you know, just play a new class already. I've been enjoying myself quite a bit, not really just because the Demon Hunter is super OP. I do kind of enjoy the playstyle of the Sentry build. Now, I've heard quite a bit of bashing on the Sentry build just because it's easy. It's kind of easy. Okay, it's easy, but there is still skill involved within it. There's still a lot of things going on, and just because it's easy doesn't mean you can't up the ante and push yourself a little bit harder and try to take yourself a little bit further, because it is a slightly easier build. You know, not just kind of standing back watching your turrets do the work. Like, you're the aggro for your turrets. You're pulling mobs, you're taking the damage. It's been a lot of fun. Seasons have been a blast. Starting a new class has been a blast. I would recommend it to anyone who has been only playing one class. If there's something out there that you kind of want to try, it's a good time to do so. Leveling, progressing, getting to Torment 6 is just, it's really easy. You can push for Torment 6, I would say, with, you know, like 2 days worth of play. You can find yourself a Torment 6. Now this is maybe like 46 or 48 hours of playtime. You could find yourself in Torment 6. Even before that, if you're really pushing for it, you know, it's something that you're going to be able to do. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I had for the video. Just wanted to talk about a few things that were going on inside of Seasons, what was going on with my gaming experience with it. As I said, gonna say it one more time, it has been a blast. So, I do want to throw out there one last time, if you really want to go for that Sprinter Conquest, complete Acts 1 through 5 within an hour, you don't have a group, send me a message through Nasty Old Vikings. That is a community. You could join that. Just look for ChromeOnRust, send me a message, and, you know, we'll try to put something together, because, you know, this has to be something that you want. And this is something that I tell everybody who I talk to. You have to want this conquest. It's not going to be a one run and done. You're going to have to get the group together. You're going to have to probably run it a couple times to get your guys' flow together, to make sure that you guys are working in complete harmony. I just think it's going to be really exciting. The whole seasonal thing has really, I want to say, drug me into the community, whether I liked it or not. And I mean, I liked it. I've been meeting new people. I have been, you know, just playing with a ton of random people and just grinding. You know, the first conquest that I got, I was on Softcore. This is moving away from the hardcore side of things. I was on Softcore because that's what I grinded out first. Got my conquest. I was watching Dat Mods. You know, this is a little geek out here for me. I was watching Dat Mods. He was looking for people who were semi-geared at this point, because this is like right at the beginning of Seasons. Mods plays multiple hours every day, so he's a pretty high Paragon level, had some pretty good gear, but I had been doing the same thing, and, you know, not everybody had. And so I was like, you know what? Mods was looking for people to play with. I sent him a PM. He has no idea who I am, but you know what? He sent me an invite, and I was like, dude, I'm playing with Dat Mods. So Seasons for me have been really exciting. You know, that made me pretty geeked out, getting a conquest, playing with Dat Mods all on the same day. I was riding an emotional Diablo 3 high, and I haven't done that since Diablo came out. So for that, Seasons, what the developers have been doing, props to you guys. The game's come a long way. Actually enjoying myself. Not that I wasn't before, but I'm enjoying myself on a new level for Diablo. So really exciting things. Send me those messages if you really want to go for one of those conquests. And that is going to be it for me. I'm ChromeOnRust for Core Expert Gaming. Season 2, I hope to see you. I'm out of here, and you all have a great day.
need to go back.